السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد قال الله تعالى في القرآن العظيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون. صدق الله العظيم. We've been discussing different qualities and characteristics of the true believers in order that we can try to implement these qualities and get them into our lives. And so we've been discussing the beginning ayat of Surah Al-Mu'minun, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes those believers who have gotten success. And so the last quality that comes in these list of 10 ayat is وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. They are those who protect their salah. So يُحَافِظُونَ comes from the word hifz, which means literally to protect something. So the question is, what does it mean to protect your salah? The ulama mostly say that it refers to praying your salahs at their appointed time and making sure that you pray your salahs on time. And in general, you could say different aspects of the external aspects of salah. So if we noticed, when we were talking about the qualities of the believers mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun, in the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. So Allah started with salah and ended with salah, which shows how important salah is to a believer. And so in the beginning, Allah talks about khushu' in salah. Then in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the external aspects of salah, and the most important being that making sure we pray salah at its appointed time. And this is mentioned in a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ as being one of the most afdalul a'mal, one of the best of all actions, and the most important actions in terms of our deen. We know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says that the أول ما يحاسب به العبد يوم القيامة الصلاة. The first thing a person will be taken to account for on the Day of Judgment is salah. In صلحت صلح سائر عمله. If his salah will be correct, then the rest of his actions will also be good. وإن فسدت فسد سائر عمله. If his salah is corrupted, there's some issues with his salah, then the rest of his actions will also be corrupt and messed up. And so it is extremely important for us to give importance to our salah specifically and make sure that we protect our salah by praying it at its appointed time. And one way in which many times we may miss our salah is due to work. And so it is very important for us, at the end of the day, yes, we need to make our livelihood, but we never have any excuses for missing salah. There's never ever any excuse for missing salah. No matter how tight your schedule is, you have to make the time. You have to make a way somehow. And if it's literally impossible for you, then you have to start looking into other jobs. It is not a matter that there's no other jobs out there, there's no other way to get your rizq out there. Your salah is the most important thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. They have not created jinn or man except to worship me. So if we're not fulfilling the purpose of our creation, then what is the purpose of our existing in the first place? Why are we even making money to feed our family, to do something, to not even fulfill the reason why we were even created in the first place? So it is very important for us to keep our priorities correct. Salah is the number one priority. If there's any sort of situation, even school, whatever it may be, if there's any situation where it collides with our salah in a way that we cannot pray our salah, then the salah should not go. Rather, that our work or our school should be the thing that has to give way in whatever way or capacity we make it work. Obviously, there usually is some way we can make it work. But if there's absolutely no way, then our salah has to come first. Another way in which we usually miss out on salah, people normally, they'll be praying salah, but when it comes to traveling, for example, they just kind of give themselves a green light that, I'll just make them up when I'm done traveling. It's very possible, it seems very difficult, but if you take certain precautions and you, for example, you have leather socks or wudu socks or things like that, it makes it much easier while traveling. You keep a musalla with you, keep a track of, there's apps, for example, Halal Trip, that make things easier too, that tell you the timings of your salah. But your salah is not maaf, is not forgiven just because you're traveling somewhere. So it's another place in which people commonly miss their salah out of its time, which is again As another hadith mentions that من فاتته صلاة فكأنما وتر أهله وماله, that a person who misses one salah, then it is as if all of his wealth and his belongings has been stolen from him. So imagine you come home and your family is kidnapped and all of your belongings are gone. How sad would you be? Well, the Prophet ﷺ is saying you missed one salah, that's the same thing. So it's something that we really have to take very seriously, and we cannot be lenient and negligent in this regard. And similarly, for example, when we're shopping, we just think, oh, we have to shop, it's kind of difficult. We're at the mall, we're at the store, and how are we going to pray? Oh, we'll just do qada. We take it very lightly. So it's extremely important for us to give importance to our salah, as it is the purpose for our existence. And one more thing I want to mention is in a narration of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh, he mentioned that whoever wants to be raised tomorrow, meaning in the hereafter, amongst those who truly believe, then he should do muhafadha. He used the same word that was used in the ayah. فَلْيُحَافِظْ عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ الصَّلَوَاتِ. He should protect these salawat, but he didn't just say it in general. He said specifically in those places in which the nida, the call for them, is given out, referring to the masajid. And so a very beautiful and amazing way in which we could truly implement this commandment of Allah to do muhafadha, to protect our salah, is to establish them in the masjid as much as possible, as much as we can. We should really give importance to this. In the same hadith that I'm mentioning, Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh said that I have seen a time in which not a single person would, from the entire Medina, not a single person would not be present at the Fajr and Isha salahs, or at the masjid in general, except munafiqun ma'lumun nifaq, a person who is a munafiq, and everybody knows he's a munafiq, he's not even trying to show otherwise. But other than that, even those munafiqun who were really trying to hide, even they would be present at the masjid for all the salawat, let alone the other sahaba. There wasn't even a concept of them praying at home. So let us give this extra importance. Alhamdulillah, in the month of Ramadan, we see the attendance has really increased, mashallah. For example, if this was a normal day, we would probably have half or even less than half of this crowd. So let us continue this after the month of Ramadan, inshallah, and we will see that this will actually be a means of increasing our iman. We've been talking about iman the whole month. Alhamdulillah, we've been having these sessions talking about qualities of iman. We mentioned that it's both ways. One is you strive to implement these qualities, and that'll also increase your iman. But it's also that when you increase your iman, then automatically these qualities will come into your life as well. So one of the best ways and most important ways for us to increase our iman and keep our iman strong is to keep ourselves attached to the best of all environments, which is the environment of the masjid. As some scholars give an example, it is like the example of a leaf and a tree. So when a leaf is detached from the tree, it doesn't get nutrients and it shrivels up and dies. But when it's attached to the tree, it's nice and green and luscious, and it gets all the nutrients it needs. The same way when a believer is attached to the masjid, inshallah, its iman will stay strong. And so let us all make intention to connect ourselves to the masjid so we can protect our salah, and in general make intention that we're never ever going to miss any salah, inshallah, as long as we are living. And lastly, Allah ends all of these ayat by saying, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. These people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described had all these beautiful qualities, they are the inheritors. الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسِ, who will inherit not just any Jannah, Jannatul Firdaus, which is the highest level of Jannah. This is where the Prophet ﷺ will be, all of the prophets will be, the shuhada will be, the siddiqeen, the greatest people will be in this Jannah. And so we all want to be at that level of Jannah. Why settle for less if you can get the highest level? And so we should try to implement these acts, and inshallah we will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that highest level in Jannah. That's why it's actually even told to us that when you ask for Jannah, don't just settle for lowest. You ask for al-firdaus al-a'la, the highest level of Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all Jannatul Firdaus. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك